All right. So where we last left off in the big session was you and your compatriots had walked into this temple of Valen and Cercinia in this sort of almost in between world, a place between past and present and future. Um, and you had been basically offered a some power in return for your efforts to maintain balance. And the party had accepted. And after this glowing orb found its way inside of you, and you felt this growth of strength and power, your vision went white. And when you awoke, you find yourself in very familiar territory. Um, you actually find yourself nearby the city of Felinora. And you are in a sort of garden field area, and you see your mother and your father off to the side singing, working on his musical craft. And your perspective feels slightly off. You feel smaller than you once did just moments ago. And your mother turns to you and says, Edwyn, are you doing okay?
Uh, yes, Mom. Just looking around, taking everything in.
Well, it's awful strange of you to be doing. You've seen this garden many a time. But did you talk about something in school that's bothering you?
Uh, just the typical, you know, people giving me a little hard time.
You know. Well, unfortunately that'll never change. People will be people. But you've got to work to prove them wrong. Uh Reminds me a lot of your father. Honestly, he wasn't always a famous musician. People used to make fun of him because of who he was.
Took a
But
lot of work to get where he is.
absolutely, and you're gonna get there too, Edwyn. Speaking of, aside from that, how is school going? Are you doing okay? Everything making sense?
I seem to be catching on to everything pretty well. I think. Um, I find it kind of boring sometimes. I feel like everything's just a little bit too easy.
Hmm. Well, on one hand, I'm glad to hear that. At least that means you're doing well. Maybe we can find some ways to challenge you a little bit. Maybe we can do some extra stuff at home.
I'd like that.
Hey, I was talking to your teacher the other day, and I heard you guys were talking about work after learning. Um, and well, she had some trouble. She wanted me to ask you, is what was it you told your teacher you wanted to do?
Well, she asked me, and I guess I'm not really sure what I want to do. Um, I figured I'd probably either do what you do and grow stuff or do what dad does and be a musician, but right now I'm not really sure where I want to be.
And after that response, um, your vision goes white, and you wake up, or you open your eyes again, and you are in your school room. And there's quite a few kids in the room. You have a book open in front of you. It looks like you've scribbled in a couple notes with a couple extra doodles around. Um, and the teacher is talking about Valen and Cercinia. You are in history class right now. And as you're scribbling down some notes, you feel something hit the back of your head.
I look and I see what hit my head.
Yeah, and it's a bundled up piece of paper. Um, Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Perception. That would be a 9.
Yep. So with a 9, you see a couple kids kind of look at you in your general direction as this piece of paper hits your head. But it's at the moment you're unable to tell who threw it. But when you pick it up and open it, it just says "freak" on it.
I look at the piece of paper for a second, and then I just kind of crumble it up and put it away and just try to pay attention to class again.
Mm-hmm. As you're doing this, you crumple it up, and the teacher kind of looks at you and goes, "Edwyn, what is that? Are you passing notes in class?" And you hear a couple kids chuckle behind you.
No, just putting this away.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion for me.
Persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 10.
Yeah. She says, "Well, it looks like you're hiding something. Let me see what that says." And she walks up to you.
I'll hand it over.
Yeah, and you hand it over, and you open it up. And at this point, she looks at the rest of the class and says, "Who wrote this? Because if you did, this is no way to treat a fellow student." And as you look around, nobody, of course, is owning up to having thrown it at you. And as disappointed, she says, "We do not treat people this way. It is important that everybody is treated with a level of respect, because you never know what those words will have an effect on somebody." And as she kind of goes into this rant, your vision goes white once again, and you are back at home, and you're sitting with your mother and father and another familiar figure. This figure sitting next to your parents, your father goes, "Well, Master Ranvid, this sounds all very intriguing and all, but I don't know that our son is ready to tackle this." And Ranvid goes, "Oh, please, sir. I don't mean to intrude or tell you how to parent, but your son is having a really rough time in school. Not educationally. In fact, your son is way surpassed where he currently is. In fact, I mean, he can almost just skip the rest of the education process and be far better off than anybody else in his class." And he says, "What I'm simply suggesting is we take him to a place where he's not going to be looked down upon for pursuing knowledge, or even for his deficit, shall we say." And he turns to you. Yeah.
Edwyn's just sitting there and taking it all in.
And your mother actually chimes in and goes, "But Master Ranvid, I mean, magic? I'm afraid of, we've seen what magic has done to this world. I mean, it's been ravaged by it, and I worry about Edwyn getting involved. And she turns to you, Edwyn, and goes, Are, I mean, is this something you want to do, Edwyn?
Um, well, it is a little scary for me too. Um, and I'm not really sure what it all is about, but I feel like it would be a good way for me to make a difference in the world. And he kind of looks down at his arm. He's like, with what life has given me, um, I feel like this would be the opportunity for me to do something big despite what challenges I face.
Ranvid looks at you and he cracks a smile and he goes, You see, this is not me trying to take your son away from you. This is not me trying to put your son in a situation he can't handle. In fact, he's got the art and the dedication to become a phenomenal wizard, or really anything he wants to become. It's within his reach. So you do not have to decide right now. But I would highly recommend that, regardless of whether it's through this academy, Edwyn needs a much more accelerated course. One that will not be found in a small place such as this. Nothing wrong, but he needs more than what this place can offer him. And Ranvid gets up and he walks out. And your father turns to you and says, Edwyn, are you going to be okay?
Of course,
Is
I'm
this... Oh,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
I'm willing to take care of myself.
And at that, your vision goes white again. And when you open your eyes, you're in a new place. You are in a grand library. And you have a stack of books on your table. And next to you is a halfling woman named that you remember as Hazanava. And she goes, "Oh gosh, Edwyn, how there is no way we're gonna pass this test."
Oh, don't worry. I think with enough studying and enough work, we'll get through it. But yeah, I feel you. I mean, this is some hard stuff we're going through right here.
I can't believe when I was told I was gonna come to a wizard academy, I thought most of my time would be spent in the courtyard, casting spells at wizard dummies and getting stronger and not spending 40 hours a week in a library.
Edwyn kind of just chuckles and puts another book in front of her.
No, Edwyn, come on. Advanced evocation? Like, all right. And as you guys start studying, you are approached by two others that you recognize, Gulag and Tanag. And they are coming in with their stack of books. And they plop down and they go, "Oh, Edwyn, how have you gotten through so many books already?" "Yeah, I'm with Gulag here. How are you even getting... How do you do all this?"
You know, I'm not quite sure myself sometimes. It just seems like this kind of comes easy to me.
Oh, whatever. Quit being humble and just tell us your secret already.
Edwyn just kind of looks around at all of them and then just kind of goes back to reading and kind of like shows it kind of like motions like this is how as he's reading.
And Hazanava looks to the two half orcs and is like, "It's no use getting to him right now. He's nose deep in these books." And she looks at the stack and goes, "He's gonna be here a while." Well, do you guys mind if we sit and study with you?
No, go right ahead.
And they plop their stuff down, and you're all kind of reading. And Tanak actually chimes in and goes, "So, have you guys chosen, like, if we pass this test, we get to move on and choose our school? What school are you guys interested in?" And Hazanava chimes in, and she holds up her advanced evocation book, and he goes, "I like burning things. It's just, it's hard for me to pick something else. Evocation is just where it's at."
Edwin kind of looks at her and then looks towards the twins, and he's like, "Yeah, evocation's pretty cool. Being able to throw fireballs and stuff, that'd be a lot of fun." But and then he pulls up the book he's currently reading, which is a book of conjuration,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "This is what I'm thinking. I feel like this was the school of magic that I was meant to study."
Interesting. And Gulag looks and he goes, I kind of gotta go with Hazanava on this one. Evocation is just, I mean, come on, a fireball? Why would you want to cast anything else in life?
Evocation is the percussion of schools of magic.
Yes,
so
it
it's
is.
the one everybody wants to do.
Yes, it is. And as you're having this conversation, a human man approaches all of you and goes, "Oh, idiots, none of you are even gonna make it into the next phase." And you remember that this is Hardin, Ranvid's son.
Got all of your studying done, Hardin?
Ha! Of course I do. I've got it all in here, and you forget. My father is the one who administers this test.
And knowing your father, I'm sure he will not cut you any slack.
Well, of course not, but I mean, what's he gonna do? Not accept his son into the next school? Of course, I'm already naturally gifted as it is. I really don't have to worry too much like the lot of you.
Edwin kind of snickers and goes back to reading.
And he sits down right next to you and goes, "What, you think all of a sudden you're too good for me, you one-armed freak?" And at this, Hazanava pushes him aside and goes, "Hey, listen, you're the one who came up to us. You do not get to talk to him like that."
Edwin kind of puts his arm up and kind of stops her from advancing on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "It's okay. It's okay."
No, but this is not okay. Ever since you've gotten here, he has found somebody that he feels he can pick on without any repercussion. And quite frankly, he doesn't just get away with this. And Gulag and Taneg stand up as well, and they go, "Yeah, we all know that you work way too incredibly hard to just get insulted by some random so-and-so." And, oh, go ahead.
Edwin says, "I appreciate it, guys, but I've been getting this kind of treatment my whole life, so I've got some pretty thick skin, even for a turtle."
Hardin, at this point, realizing he's outnumbered and it's not worth his time, goes, "Whatever. Enjoy your studying, losers. I'll see you. Well, I won't see you at the next School of Magic." And he turns and walks away. And you, as you continue to dive into your book in Conjuration, you remember encountering the spell Mage Hand while going through your studies. And as you're going through the components of it, um, you blink, and upon opening your eyes again, you are outside of the Grand Library where you were studying, and many buildings within are in flames. You, Hasanava, Hardin, are all outside the city gates, uh, going against a few bandits that are trying to make their way into the town, while Gulag, uh, Tunag, Tanag, and many other students are battling some of the bandits inside. Um, and you see a few bandits running up to you. What do you do?
I am going to. So would I know any spells at this point?
You would not know your spells that you just got.
So I
So
basically just have everything I started with.
yeah, yeah. So any of your level 2 spells you do not have right now.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll try to hit him with a guiding bolt. Hit one of the.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that attack for me.
Attack. 10.
Yeah, and you conjure up this this white bolt of energy, and you smack it into one of the bandits running your way, and he immediately keels over. You see Hazanava putting up her finger and blasting out some magic missiles into one of the other ones coming in. And you see Hardin attempting to cast one of his spells, trying to do the motions for a burning hand spell, but you actually see him slip up one of the motions, and the spell fizzles out as one of the other bandits is coming in.
I'm gonna go ahead and send a magic missile towards the guy who's about to attack him.
Yep. And you see again, he tries this spell. It fizzles out completely as a sword strike from the bandit's about to come in and slice him, as 3 bolts of magic energy fly into him, and he falls over to his side. And Hardin looks over to you, and realizes that you were the one who saved him, and he goes, "I could have handled that myself."
I look at him and I just say, "Get out of here."
Yeah. Hazanava looks over at you, surprised to see like an actual comment come out of you. And Hardin actually comes up to you and goes, "You do not get to talk to me this way. You will deal with this after." And he runs inside to go deal with some of the bandits that are inside. At this time, there are no more bandits running into the gate. What do you do?
So it's all clear on the outside where I am?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll kind of look at the others and I'll say, I guess we should better go in and check the inside and see if they need some help.
Yep. And you go in, and there are a couple more bandits trying to set some of the buildings aflame. A few of them are still on fire. The townspeople that are still inside are working to put the flames out, to varying levels of success. But there are 3 more bandits on the inside that are attacking the other wizards.
Okay, do I recognize anything about, like, the clothing that these bandits are wearing, or are there any, like, symbols to say who they are?
You know that this is a local bandit camp that just kind of existed on the outside before, but nobody's really taken the time to deal with. They've been like shut down, and like they've had to re-bolster their numbers, but this is the only time that this group has ever made it into the city so successfully.
Okay. I cast another magic missile and I try to hit all 3 of the bandits that are right there.
Okay. Uh, and so you do, and none of them die. But you see these beams fly into the three of them. They all look to you. Um, and one of them, as the beam fires into him, you actually see his armor start to glow after being hit by this magic missile. Um, and all three of them turns toward you. Uh, Master Ranvid casts his own flame blade across one of them near him, killing them. Uh, Harden actually gets his actions correct this time as he casts Burning Hands on the other one. But the one with the armor that started to glow, his chest fires a beam of light directly at you. And it is a magic missile fired back at you with double the damage.
Oh boy.
For 6 points of damage.
Well, I mean, that would have probably done a lot of damage to me. I think that was most of. I think I had 8 at first level or something.
Yeah. So imagine you're at first level again.
Mhm.
Um.
So yeah, I'm hurt pretty bad.
Yeah. And after this, you see Gulag and Tanag actually doubling up in front of you. And you glance in front, and you see Harden actually prepping a bigger spell to throw at this bandit that attacked you. But right before, your vision goes white again. And when you wake up, you are the one charging up a big spell. It's not one that you in your mind recognize. And you see that bandit with Harden's face, with the glowing armor. And you hear the voice inside, the one you recognize from the temple, saying, Edwyn, you've grown strong since this first moment. However, do you have the willpower to do what must be done?
To do what must be done.
And
oh,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, you're charging up this spell at Harden. Harden has his eyes glowing 2 separate colors, something unlike anything you've seen before. One purple and one blue. And he looks at you in fear as you charge this big spell at him. What do?
Would I know anything about why he's like this, or is it just completely unknown?
You can roll an Arcana or an Investigation, whatever you would prefer.
Let's do an Arcana.
Oh wow!
Nat 20.
Yeah. So you, all of a sudden, as if an epiphany has clicked in your head, you realize that these are not 100% your true memories. They are variations on your memory of your times as a child. And this section being put forth in front of you is you confronting a part of your past. And as for what's actually going on with Harden, because it's not actually happening right now, you don't have a way to determine what this imagery might mean.
You said he looks fearful?
Mm-hmm. He is very much afraid of you in this current moment.
I'll throw the spell just to his right.
Yep. And as you do, the voice says, "Ah. So, the will to want to find out more has taken hold of you. Is that so?
Yes. I I I need to know more before I make a decision like this.
Very well put. With your childhood enemy right in your grasp, you still want to know more and understand your foe. That takes great willpower. And your vision flashes white, and you awaken with the rest of the party. They all having also seemed to have come to, uh, as if having a similar experience to you. And that is your little mini session.
Sweet. That was cool.